I don't know how to do this video because it's kind of an uphill battle anytime I mention anything remotely similar to any of the Pro products in the Adventure Force line, like the Aeon Pro. And I said in my video on this that I'm kind of looking forward to seeing people make pump action kits for it, because the idea of a small pump action blaster, but the arrival of the Aeon Pro kind of brought similarities to Gavin Fuzzy's SPAMF, which is a 3D printed modification kit for the NERF Accustrike Falconfire, and one that I and many other people enjoyed immensely. But who am I kidding? Because today I'm taking a look at OldFusionDesigns' Super SPAMF, a pump action kit for the SPAMF. I was not really totally into it. In fact, I was kind of apathetic when they said they wanted to send it off to me to take a look at for a video. But now I actually really, really like it, and I'm gonna have to try to at least sell my case on why I like it so much, and that's what makes this video really awkward. The Super SPAMF from OldFusionDesigns is a modification of a modification, as much sense as that makes. As far as I know right now on Etsy, OldFusionDesigns only sells the pump action files and the grip files for $10 for the both of them, or $5 each. They are not selling SPAMFs, and they are not selling the printed parts by themselves, although they did send these parts out to me for free, fully printed and ready to go to slap onto my own SPAMF. And again, at first, I didn't really think too much of it, but Luchathor decided he would spend the time to put the blaster together for me, and I absolutely love this blaster because it's a pump action, tiny, thin thing that, like, it's the magazine, and this is a 20 round Talon mag from Worker that's slightly curved, is about the size of the blaster, and it's pump action, and this one will hit upwards of 140 FPS, and this is only an 8 kilogram spring, or a 10 kilogram spring. I have 12 kilogram retaliator springs. I think that will work in here much better, and because it's pump action, I can put a lot more force behind it, because it's a lot easier to prime. And we got a 137 on that one. Now, the going rate for a kit for a SPAMF is a lot more expensive than an Aeon Pro, and then you have to factor in having an Accustrike Falconfire on top of that, or purchasing one secondhand. And as you can see, the SPAMF is a heck of a lot thinner than the Aeon Pro, despite the pump action version with a much longer barrel than normal being an identical length, even with this thing having a full-sized magazine well on it, without the muzzle. Now, the Aeon Pro has a much bigger plunger tube than our humble SPAMF here, which is one of the reasons why it hits so hard for being basically the same size with a much shorter barrel. The grip piece you see right here is a separate STL file that you can buy, but it is a really nice upgrade. It is 1,000 times more comfortable than the stock grip that you see on the Falconfire, and it's cool how it's a removable piece, so you can get one in whatever color you want to match the rest of your blaster. I'm trying to remember what this color scheme reminds me of. Legitimately, like in the comment section, if you could tell me what this white, little bit of gray, green, and light pink color scheme is. I wanted to say Kamen Rider X8, but his pink is a lot more vibrant. I'm trying to remember what this exact color scheme, even with the black on it, reminds me of. The Super SPAMF kit also includes a new slide, the pump action pieces, the barrel assembly, and a new pusher bolt in there that has the Vanguard style edition where the sides of it are cut away, so you can very easily remove the magazine and insert a new one without priming the blaster back. But it's also pump action. There are multiple different grips that you can do for the priming grip. I went with this one because I found it the most ergonomic, but there's also the weird little toothy one that might be better for some people. It has that little bit of a forward lip. This one I kind of have to grab. I have smaller hands, so it's easy for me. But having a pump action blaster that hits 135 FPS that's this compact, it's a no-brainer that I really enjoyed, even though, like, potentially it's a pretty expensive project compared to the Aeon Pro, which you could just pick up a shelf off Walmart. And OldFusionDesigns did not pay me for this review, and to be perfectly honest, like a lot of people, when I thought of like a pump action SPAMF, I wasn't really excited for it, and yet, now that I've built it, I absolutely love it. I really think, especially for like something if you wanted it on your gear as like a last-ditch blaster, like this whole setup right here, even without the magazine, if you were to have the magazine separate or laying on the side so you didn't have this big jutting thing sticking out of the thing, this is a really compact package to stick on your gear. And since it can hit very easily those HVZ ranges of around 130, this one hits a little bit harder than that, but you could obviously use a shorter barrel or a lighter spring load to get into that. I should also point out the barrel is longer than it probably should. Most of the kits that you'll see have the priming grip level with the barrel. This one is a bit longer because we wanted a bit more brass to get a little bit more power out of it, although I still think we need a stronger spring in here to fully utilize that. And I'm super glad Luchathor did that because it's really hard for me to deal with springers, especially ones like this. I have bad luck with springers for some reason, but he has the magic touch. And all I had to do was make everything a lot more smoother by lubing and sanding everything to get this a little bit less of that nylon rubbing 3D printed plastic feeling. But just having this on your gear somewhere, being able to flip it out and load it and pump action and ready to... Do you want that? Then yes, I highly recommend picking up this kind of kit. At the moment, there is no place I know of that sells this full thing complete, but I'm pretty sure since they're selling STLs and the licenses, any place like Silver Fox Industries that prints out SPAMFs, I'm sure they'll work with you on how much it would cost to print out the Super SPAMF in addition. It still uses Gavin Fuzzy's magwell, and the side panels here, those are not changing whatsoever. It's just the front and the pusher and the grip, which this part is completely optional, that has been changed. But man, I think the extra little bit of room on the muzzle right there makes it more comfortable to prime. It's just so nice. It's so good. I would use this over a Talon Claw, like pretty much any day of the week. I just can't get over how much I like this setup, and that's why I kind of wanted your help on this, because am I just going crazy? Is there nothing attractive about this package? Because I know a lot of you, myself included, were not really paying attention to this. It got posted pretty much everywhere. I saw it multiple times, and yet, once I got my hands on it, I couldn't imagine not using it. Like, you can still top load the magazine just like you can with the normal SPAMF and the Aeon Pro, and you can still use the slide if you really want to, but it's so good. This is all done in collaboration with Gavin Fuzzy. I'm not sure what the actual agreement is, but as far as I know, they're cool with it, and I really think this is the ultimate version of the SPAMF, and if you already had a SPAMF and you felt kind of burned from the whole Aeon Pro being pretty much the same thing, but hitting way harder, way easier, this is a good way to get back because you can put in a much stronger spring now without having to worry about that really beastie prime. Like, this thing is actually not that hard for me to prime back. I think it's using a 10 kilogram, like, Sentinel spring, but I'm not entirely sure. But I know I can do better. That I'm positive of. Yeah, this is a weird video. I didn't quite know what to do. I didn't even mention the sights. They have those kind of like fiber optic translucent sights you're seeing on the hobby nowadays. They don't really line up all that well, but they look cool. The muzzle has that kind of RE45 tenderizer look on it. That is glued on there. I didn't really know how the muzzle went together, but we got like the main spacer on, which adds another 35 millimeters, and then glued that to the front of it because I liked that look, and I'm in love. I really like this. I honestly, if you like it, it's well worth the money because I'm enjoying it quite immensely, and you might see it again in the future with a different spring to see how hard I can get it. But if I was going to a war, like if I was going to like End War or Ragnar Oktoberfest and I wanted to use a short dart pump action thing, I have the Lynx, but the thing is, this thing's like half the size of the Lynx, and if I didn't need the Slamfire and I'm shooting 130 FPS, this is perfect. This saves up a bunch of space, and it looks cool, and it's comfortable, and I love it. How many times do I have to say that? Or maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there's something just as cool that's way more accessible, maybe even better. Or maybe you're just happy with a pump action Aeon Pro and you don't mind it being a big chunky blaster. I'm Walcom S7. Please let me know what you think down in that comment section below. This is one of those videos I almost didn't even want to upload because it's just me gushing about how much I like a thing. And I'm a little curious to see what the feedback on this video is going to be. But the Super SPAMF is awesome. I love tiny pump action pistol thing that hits hard. Thank you very much for watching this video. And of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one. Don't step on my magazine. You gotta